Hey everyone, welcome to another exciting episode of 7-Minute Scaling Secrets, where we interview entrepreneurs and learn a secret on how they scaled up their businesses. Today we have a special guest, Rayson Choo, who runs the Legacy Show, a show for millennial entrepreneurs where he picks the brains of great entrepreneurs to find out how they manage to get to their success. Rayson, welcome to the show and tell us a little bit more about what you do.
This episode was brought to you by Superscaling. Join the Superscaling Ignite program today and learn how you can systemize and superscale your business so that your revenues can grow to at least $100,000 a month with a productive team from all over the world, raving fans as clients and happy founders who have true freedom. Visit superscaling.com/ignite today. And now back to the episode.
Hey man, thanks a lot. It's really my honor and pleasure to be here on your podcast as well. And what I do is many people dub me as the celebrity whisperer. So what I do is I pick the brains of the best entrepreneurs around the world, people like Gary Vee, Grant Cardone, and etc., and get them to share their secrets on their success, on their failures, and how they actually made it to where they are today. And it's all through this podcast, like what you mentioned earlier, the Legacy Show.
So this podcast is amazing because you mentioned it, and I want to make sure that people don't miss that the show actually has really big name hitters, right? Big hitters like Gary Vee, Grant Cardone, Steve Sims, Ray Higdon, big names like that. How do you manage to actually have them come on the show? What was your process like? Because it's not every day that people can just walk up to these people and get them for an appearance.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, like in order to get that, you need to be credible in what you do, in your craft, and etc. Right? So for me, what I did was I was being really consistent in my Facebook Lives, because my podcast was actually based on Facebook Lives first before it went on to audio platforms like Spotify and iTunes. So what happened was, one day, one of this guy called Nicholas Gerard, who is like he's a big follower of Gary Vee, and also at the same time he is part of this group called Vayner Nation Squad. So this is the squad where all the Gary Vee followers will be a part of. And somehow or other he noticed my podcast, and he's pretty close to Gary in a sense, and his team whenever he's in Singapore. So he actually got me this opportunity of a lifetime, and this is to actually meet Gary in person in his hotel lobby at during his time when he was here at if I'm not mistaken, it was 2018. So that was my second time meeting him. So he just nice was here for a conference, a gig, speaking gig, like Success Resources, kind of a National Achievers Congress. So somehow or other, Nicholas is not part of NAC, not part of Success Resources, but he has been following my podcast. So he told me, hey, Rayson, I have something for you. I really love what you've been doing. I've been watching you, and I have an opportunity for you to actually meet Gary. And he told me this date and time, and I was like, hey, that's the same date and time where I'm going for the Success Resources event. And that was before he goes up on the stage. So before that, he was actually meeting a lot of people, a lot of influencers and business owners to have business meetup. So I was part of one of the group, and I was like, going there. And on that day, when I was there with them, I just took that leap of faith, and always wanting to ask him this question, but I didn't dare to, and that was to offer him an opportunity to be on my podcast, or offer myself to him for an interview, so that people like my followers will get to watch him live speaking with me. So when I asked him that question, he actually said yes to it, and I was like, woohoo, yes. And at first, the lady who was in charge of his event for that day was telling me that, hey, I'm gonna give you like 20 minutes or 30 minutes of time for an interview. But somehow or other, one of the influencers took up quite a lot of his time. So we were cut short to that 5 minutes from there. But still, it was a valuable experience for me because I not just got to mingle with him and D-Rock, but also at the same time got to interview him. And also we, walked with him from his hotel lobby to Suntec City, like as if we were his security guard, because he was with security guard officers and D-Rock as well. We were both, all of us were walking towards there. And yeah, it was really a great time. And that was like the pivoting point for me, because after I got Gary Vee, people started to inquire about how they can get their clients onto my podcast. And that's where I received many emails from I would say those PR companies from US, which I didn't expect. And I didn't know how they actually got my email contact, but somehow or other, I received emails from them. And that's where I got some of the more prolific guests. For example, like just now you mentioned Steve Sims, or some other big names that has actually came on, like Paul Gather, for example. So all these people, they had their PR companies who emailed me, but some of them DM me on Facebook as well, private message me.
That's
So
awesome.
it's very crazy. It's awesome. And
all this
yeah,
happened from just a 5-minute podcast with Gary Vee.
yes, correct.
This is something that's just happening in the hotel lobby. You're walking with him and you're recording at the same time.
Oh no, we were sitting down and we were recording. Post interview, we were walking together and we were chatting a bit here and
Nice.
there. And somehow or other, I got my friends who were interested to be, with Gary. So somehow or other, they stalked me in a sense
Sweet.
from the event, and then they went there and they pretended, hey Rayson, how come you're here? And then after that, I told them, hey, since you are here, why not you be my camera crew for that day? And a lot of them were like just filming for me, and one of them was filming the live video for me. So it was a very cool kind of experience, I would say. It's definitely something that I really enjoyed myself during that period of time.
That's awesome. So you took the 5 minutes, you made it into a podcast, a video, and you started like including that into your Legacy show. And then you just exploded from there. Was
in a sense.
Was that how you got Grant Cardone also?
Oh, Grant was different. Grant was actually, I LinkedIn messaged him, and to my surprise, he said yes after my first message to him, asking him to be on my podcast. And then after that, what happens was that he didn't reply to my messages at all. What happened was he literally did a video of him doing this, saying that, hey everyone, I'm going to Singapore, Malaysia, Dubai, Australia, and whatever country that he's going to be speaking with Success Resources. And then after that, he said that if you want to interview me, you can send that interview request to this email address. And at first, it was very hard to actually understand what that name he was actually saying to us, because it was like his slang, in a sense. His slang was quite not I would say quite hard to decipher.
His
to
accent
understand.
was very strong, I guess.
Yeah, his accent was pretty strong. So at that point of time, even when I turn on the translation, or the I would say
transcription,
it didn't really turn out as what I wanted. So I just made a guess and then just tried my luck and then just emailed to that email address that I thought it is supposed to be. And luckily it was the right person. And then after that, she replied and she said that, hey, we are going to be at Marina Bay Sands. You can actually come over to meet me in person. And that's where I got to meet her. And then after that, she brought me and my friends, because my friends was also really interested in meeting Grant Cardone, and then they became my camera crew as well. So we went to his suite, and then we met the Cardones, Sabrina, Elena, and we even met like his partners, business partners like Glenn, and even his camera guy, Johnny, the camera guy. We managed to, I would say, had a great time with him. And that interview wasn't just 5 minutes, it was actually 40 plus minutes. And
Wow.
after that, we managed to chat with him, and we were actually enjoying the whole conversation. And Grant, after the whole interview, he was saying, "Wow, this is great." He enjoyed the whole thing. This is fun.
Sweet.
And I
And
was like,
then
wow.
and then after that,
And
I guess your show exploded again because
yeah, in a sense, correct.
yeah,
Because people were thinking like, hey, did I pay success resources to actually get all these people? Because they are
yeah,
all keynote
exactly.
speakers for success resources. And disclaimer, I did not pay anyone for anything. Even though I paid for that, I would say that ticket to go and listen to
Yeah,
the
but it was
event
not
and all,
because of that,
but
I
it
guess.
wasn't because of that. Yeah. and,
Oh, that's
and people
awesome.
were
And
intrigued, like how on earth like I managed to get them
yeah,
before they were even on the stage, because I met Grant like 2-3 days before the event started.
solid. That's a
Yeah,
solid exclusive. And I love the fact that you just hustled and made your way, made it possible to have
yeah.
these interviews with these big name people. So that's all the great stuff that people see, but I'm sure there are moments of like moments where things don't go as planned, or things don't go as well. Can you
Oh
tell us
yeah.
about one of those moments and how you overcame that?
Okay, so basically, like for example, the one that I can think of is when I I actually planned it out with Robert Kiyosaki. So we are supposed to go live like on that day itself, but somehow rather he changed his mind and said that, hey, you need to actually pay me $8,000 for an interview, and then we're gonna break it into eight, or I would say we can actually do 8 videos together, but you gotta pay me $8,000 USD, and then we're gonna go live. And I was like, hey, this wasn't what we actually talked about. And I already mentioned to you that Gary Vee didn't pay me, Grant Cardone. I know, I mean, I didn't pay Gary Vee, I didn't pay Grant Cardone for an interview like this. So why should I pay you, right? I was like telling him, no, I'm not gonna do 8 videos with you. I can break down our content into 8 videos if you want, and I can ask my video editor to edit for you, but we're not gonna do $8,000 and whatsoever. And then after that, he asked me to actually invest in cryptocurrency with him. And I was like, no, I do not want to, because it was damn risky, even though back then it didn't crash as much as now. So I was like thinking, nah, I'm not too risk averse in that part of thing. So I wouldn't want to actually do that. So in the end, we didn't do our interview, but we still continue our friendship. On and off, he will message me, "Hi warrior, how are you?" and all this other stuff. So he will do all this, he will say all this funny stuff. And somehow rather, when I experienced some setback in 2020, which I believe you would have known as well, that back then I was down and out because of my relationship issues back then. And he was the one who, even though he didn't come on board my podcast, but we still kept in touch, and he still messaged me, and he shared his words of wisdom about love and relationship with me, and helped me tide through that really difficult period of my time. So yeah, it's really interesting, I would say, even though it's not really as what I wanted it to be when it comes to that podcast episode, but still it was something that I felt that it it's something meaningful, I would say, even though it didn't turn out well as I wanted it.
So, do you guys like chat on like WhatsApp or
Oh,
Facebook
which
or
we chat online. which
online?
Yeah, we chat online, surprisingly. and
Wow,
and we did
the
video call
Line
before.
app, right?
Yeah, the Line app. So we did video call before. So that's how I determined that that is the real guy, and not. And I'm pretty sure last time there's no app that can actually change the face of the person at that point
Yeah,
of time.
yeah. These days there's a
Yeah,
lot of AI,
this
I
these
guess.
days there's a lot of
Deep
AIs, but back
fakes.
then don't have. Yeah, deep fakes. Yeah, but
Yeah.
yeah, I don't think that's
Fantastic. I
deep fake.
mean,
So yeah.
it's kind of cool to have Robert Kiyosaki as a line buddy.
Oh yeah, even to today, I would say last few months back, we still had some conversation going
Yeah.
on and off. So yeah, it's something maybe we might get him onto the podcast soon. I'm not
Oh,
too
that's
sure, but
fantastic.
now I'm pretty packed with a lot of 10x stage agency speakers. So we'll see how it goes. Yeah.
Nice. Now the tables have turned. He has to pay you.
Yeah,
All
yeah,
right.
yeah.
We are coming to the end of the episode. I just want to hear your advice to other entrepreneurs. I'm sure you went through quite the journey to be where you are today.
Mhm.
What advice would you give other entrepreneurs to be successful?
Well, I always say this in all my interviews with other podcasters. So this is the thing that I want you guys to know, and that is only have one life to live as you. You can't live as Alvin, you can't live as Rayson, but you're gonna live as you. So you're gonna double up on your strengths and try not to, dwell onto your weaknesses and your mistakes. Work on what you can do and what you can improve, and keep going on with consistency and persistency. You are able to actually reach your goals no matter what. And don't forget to actually find the right networks, because the right networks can generate you the net worth that you want, as long as you actually do something about it and not just listen to the advice and keep it to yourself and say, oh, I learned everything. But you learn it, you got to apply them, because if you don't apply them, you will not reach that epitome of success that you always wanted to be.
I love that. You are like the epitome of that. You started from nothing, grew the show to where it is today, and it's through a process of hustle, determination, resilience. I think that's
Right.
something that a lot of entrepreneurs need in order to have their business succeed as well. Thanks so much, Rayson. Please tell us, how can the audience, anyone that's interested, reach out to you and maybe listen to the Legacy show as well?
All right, sure. You guys can actually go to Spotify or even iTunes and go and key in the Raygacy show. So Raygacy is spelled as Raygacy, and you can actually go and listen to all these amazing speakers, and even Alvin is part of it as well. And you can listen to his solid advice from there. And you can also find me on Raygacy in Instagram, so Raygacy. So we're going to post out a lot of mini videos clips on it as well, so you guys can stay tuned, because my video editor and I are working so hard to actually get all this content being pumped out onto my social media.
Awesome. I'll have that linked in the show notes down below as well. Hey everyone, It was a great episode. Again, love the time with Legacy. And I hope you guys like this episode. If you have takeaways, please drop them in the comments down below. Don't forget to like, comment, and share, as well as subscribe to the 7 Minutes Scaling Secrets podcast. Thanks so much for your time, and I'll see you guys again real soon.